Hiya, I'm Colzo. Welcome back to my channel here at ColzoArt. More recently, I've been making studio vlogs, but because this last couple of weeks I've been working on some client work and getting ready for market and forgetting to actually record when getting ready for the market, thought I would do a semi-real-time paint with me. I have sped up the footage a bit in parts because it was about 2 hours long. But I thought I would do a bit of a chatty video. Haven't done one of those in quite a while, so here we are. As you can see, I'm just setting up my paint. I am working in my in my Sea White of Brighton watercolour journal, and I'm using the good old Winsor & Newton gouache. I haven't painted in quite a while, really, because I've been doing other things, and I felt like I needed to just kick back and paint. But I also thought I would film the process to share with you. Oh, clearly hadn't got my camera angle right there. It's been a while since I've done a painting video, so yeah. What I'm painting is a landscape scene from a photo that I'd taken in Downpatrick a few years ago. What I end up with isn't quite what's on the screen because I'm adding a lot of artistic liberty, but yeah, I use quite a limited palette of colour in making this. I think I used primary yellow, primary blue, Venetian red, white and yellow ochre, and then towards the end I used I think it was called marigold yellow, which is more of an orange hue. Yep. So what I'm doing here is starting with the sky. I'm starting with the furthest plane away from me, mixing up some white and blue and just really starting that really quite light. And later on you'll see that I wasn't happy with the sky, so I ended up starting it again, or going over it, which is the beauty of an opaque paint or an opaque medium like this. If you don't like it, you can just paint over the top, which is what I do later. But for now, I'm happy with the colour. I think I'm adding a bit more white here. And I've discovered that using the zinc white from Winsor & Newton as opposed to the titanium white doesn't change the hue just as much for when it dries. There's not so much of a colour shift. And then here I'm picking up some of my Venetian red, adding some white, and I'm just blocking in colour. But I'll stop in a couple of minutes. It'll be real-time me talking rather than voiceover me, so I'll let past me explain that. But I wanted to chat about something else today as well. As you can see, obviously I've just discussed the material that I'm using and the paints and things, but a post came up on my Instagram feed yesterday, and I think I'd like to have a chat about it. It was an old archive post, and it's talking about, I'm just thinking about how when I started this art journey a few years ago, I started with what I could afford. So I was using a really cheap £2 tin of watercolours that I'd picked up at the works, and they were like, looking back, they were like chalk. They were really, really chalky, but it wasn't the material that made me an artist. It was the practice and the trying new things that helped, I think. So I'm going to chat a bit more about that in a wee minute. But yeah, I'm gathering my thoughts. And while I gather my thoughts, I think I'll let you just sort of watch me paint for a moment, and then past me will explain a bit more about what I'm doing, and I'll catch in with you in a bit. So, what you're seeing now is me blocking in colour. Well, mainly shape actually. Tried to start with the furthest away, which is the sky, and then while the sky was drying, I mixed up some greens. Which are rather beautiful. And then I have, while the sky's been drying and I've mixed the green, I've just kind of been blocking in other shape and colour. I really like this green down here. I used the primary yellow, primary blue, and a dash of yellow ochre. I mean a dash, I mean this is mainly just the primary yellow and primary blue, but I really like that shade, that hue even. Yeah, So thought I would just check in, let you know what I'm doing. The desk does look like chaos, but I'm embracing that. Anyway, I'll get back to painting. Alexa. Yeah, so going back to materials. Yeah, I think for me, and actually I think for anybody, it isn't the price of the material that you use that is important to begin with. I think the act of just creating is what's important, whether that be with a pencil, like just an ordinary school pencil, or a biro, like a pen you would use in school, or whether it's a £2 tin of watercolour. I am thankful for that £2 tin of watercolours, because when I first started my arting journey a few years ago, I was really quite unwell, and I needed something to help just fill my mind with other things, which is where my sort of art journey started. And for me, I think creating and being creative, I think we're all creative in some way. And for me, creativity, I see it as from a Christian perspective. I think I see it as we've come from a creative God who made the world, and because we're made in his image, we are also innately creative, whether that be through drawing and painting, or whether that's you can cook a really good meal, or interior design, or just knowing where to put the furniture in your living room, or it could be plants, music. There is so much creativity. But so yes, as a child, we're given a box of crayons, or whatever, and I'm not sure at what point it is we sort of stop and decide that that's for children only. But I think, yeah, I'd always been a creative person, but never genuinely believed that I could draw, that I could make anything. And I think encouragement from friends and supporters meant that to keep trying and to sort of practice and teach myself through watching videos on YouTube or borrowing books out of the library, things that were free and accessible, really, and that's where it all really started. So I just wanted to sort of reflect on that, and how it isn't the material that makes you an artist. And I think it sometimes can be kind of a bit, I don't know how to put it. I know for me in the beginning, I was watching these wonderful artists on YouTube and thinking, oh my goodness, my art would be really good if I had those expensive paints, or or those really high-end coloured pencils, but actually I did what I could with what I had, and that in and of itself taught me how to be more creative, because I think you really have to adapt when it comes to sort of using not so wonderful wonderful paints or whatever, but it's where I learnt, it's how I learnt, and I would encourage you, as whoever is listening to this, that you don't need the expensive paint to start painting. You can literally start with stuff from the pawn shop or the dollar store, and just get creative. It doesn't matter what you use, as long as you do something, I think is the main thing. Yeah. So with that being said, I'm gonna chat a bit about what I'm doing and give you a bit of an update as well with where things are at here with my business, now that I've just chatted about paint. So here in this picture, I am really, I think at this point I was struggling to get the right hue for some of the shadows that will be becoming the foreground. As you probably can see, just up in the corner there is a lot of yellow and brown in the foreground of my reference, and I really had a bit of a wrestle with this. I figured that I would start with my darks and then add highlight. It also was getting quite late at this point, and then I think I gave up after a while and went to bed and came back at it the next day. I still find painting really therapeutic, and it's nice to have that kind of creative outlet. Things here in the studio, I have been, last weekend I did my first market, which was a lot of fun. It was very wet, but I've come away from it having learnt quite a lot as well, and I now know when it comes to my next one, which is next weekend, that there are things that I will do differently. I think with always being with the first of anything, there is that sort of struggle of how to do the thing, and it was completely outside of my comfort zone, so I'm glad I did it. I've learned a lot. And then the other thing is that like I say, next weekend I'm doing another market. Client work has been good. I'm enjoying that. It's coming close to the end. And I'm in the process of looking for some more clients, which is not proving difficult. I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say I'm still looking for the people who are interested in my work. There was quite a good bit of conversation last weekend at the market with people interested in commissions for Christmas, and And since we're in August, I should probably make a Instagram post or some marketing, just to let people know that they really need to get their orders for commissions in to give me time to make the work. So, dearest YouTube people who are watching or listening to me, if that is you and you are interested in commission work, please do get in touch, and I'll leave my email address in the box down below. I'd love to chat about your ideas. Yeah, I think as soon as this current client project is finished, I am giving myself some time off. So I'm going to I would like to go to the beach. It's one of my favourite places, and you'll have seen me paint the beach multiple times, or the sea, or the water. So once I've promised myself that once this current project is finished, I am giving myself a holiday. I don't have to go away overnight anywhere, but I would just like some time off where I'm not thinking about projects or having guilt about projects. So I'm trying to sort of work out a balance between honouring my body and allowing for time off when my body demands it, but also taking time off because I would like time off. And I'm in that sort of working out a balance at the moment. Yeah. So that's where things are at here. I think I might add some music and just let you sort of enjoy this painting process for a bit, and I will check in with you in a while. Thanks for listening so far, if you've been here and listening, and I will check in with you in a while. Okay, so we're coming up towards the end of the video. I'm adding some really teeny tiny details with, I think it's called a rigger brush, but it's a really long, thin, bristled brush, and you have to sort of hold it really loosely. Yeah, so I'm adding tiny details. And if you're following me on Instagram, you'll have already seen this part, because I posted a bit of a teaser. Yeah. So there's not very much left of the video. I'm just adding detail, as I said. And I definitely struggled with this bit in the foreground. Trying to sort of get it looking how I wanted, and this is where the artistic liberty came into play a lot, as you can see as well from the oranges and yellows that I mentioned earlier. Yeah, so the next step, once this was painted, was to digitize it. So I took some photos, and I've been editing them so that the image that I've taken is a true representation of the colour of the work. Be interested to hear your thoughts on this piece. So do comment down below with your thoughts. Here you can see I am cutting a piece of just ordinary printer paper to cover up my sky, which I worked very hard on, because I'm going to get a toothbrush, an old repurposed toothbrush, and I'm going to splatter some paint, and I did not want the sky to have any kind of orange or yellow splats in it. Yeah, so that's what I'm doing here. If you're not already, please do subscribe, hit the notification bell, because my upload schedule is next to non-existent at the moment. I don't have a plan in place. So yeah, do hit the bell to make sure that you're getting notified when the next video goes up. Do comment, like, and all those things. If you're not following me on Instagram, my goal I've set for myself is to reach 1,000 followers by the end of the year, and I'm at 889 at the moment. But I will leave all my links down below, along with some affiliate links and some companies that I love, that if you use the link you get a discount, and I get a discount as well. But I'll leave all of the information down below, and I will hopefully catch up with you in the next video. Have a good rest of your day, and have a good evening. Bye.